Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Knowledge Central, where we talk about different things like personal development and about improving your career and how to actually navigate through life in different aspects, of course. And in this series, where I also talk a lot about self-improvement and self-help books, and especially focus much more on the actionable insights. And of course, I'm always pro towards reading the full book, obviously, especially if you want to know the exact gist or in-depth idea, and then convert that to your make it a habit and change your belief system a little bit, and then make it a part of your life. Of course, you need to read the book from my point of view, not even once, but also multiple times to actually get the whole core of the book. But these videos are mostly useful towards, first of all, understanding about the book, and obviously also get quick actions where you can literally start applying them tomorrow. And definitely you would see some amazing results. And it would be a nice start to not only know the book, but at the same time also change your life uh, with a much faster pace. And of course, if you want to know much more about the psychology, of course, about the extended version of things, you should definitely read the whole book, right? So without any further ado, let's move on. And as usual, I start with the best quote from the author, Chelsea Fagan, where she tells money is does not actually directly buy you happiness, but it affects everything, which depends on whether we feel happy or not. And she exactly tells things like, it doesn't actually buy happiness, but of course it can get you the Lego kit, which makes you happy or makes you much more comfortable, gets you time freedom back, gets a vacation with your family, friends. So I can keep going on, right? So the list is endless. The idea is not happiness, but everything which affects the happiness. And that's the core understanding of this quote. It's pretty deep. And that's what we should look forward to. It's not about happiness, but everything which affects it. And just to keep that in mind. So let's move on to the actionable insights. And the first one is obviously having some strict non-negotiable rules, especially when it comes to money. And I would start with obviously focusing on tracking your money, how it comes in, how it goes out, how much comes in, where do you spend, etc. But we shouldn't just keep rolling on our credit cards, and especially since it has a higher limit, and until it reaches the limit, we cannot mindlessly keep spending. So it's really important to keep a track of it, and do not live a life until you become that person. Like, for example, we cannot live like billionaires without becoming a billionaire. And this might be a little bit tempting, especially to get the illusion that you are really wealthy, like a millionaire or billionaire by getting few things, but it's quite an illusion. And it's kind of, misperception where we feel we might look rich by getting few things, but it actually is kind of, taking away money, and it's not money well spent, right? Of course, there are amazing things which money can be spent on, and especially it can generate much more cash flow. It can be used for investment, of course, not a part of this video, but the idea is to spend money wisely, right? And as I meant or mentioned about keeping a track of your money, it's also really important to keep a check in your bank account, right? How much comes in, how much goes out. And obviously to have different accounts for different things, like especially to have a savings account, which is related to the last point, as you see in the slide, is, it's not about, it's never a good time. It's always nice to have saving. It's always nice to have an emergency fund. So things like that. So make sure you give it thought for that as well. And make sure it's non-negotiable. Even though you feel really tempted, you need to have the discipline and courage not to spend it unless it's super important, right? Unless it's like, something really crucial. So make sure it's non-negotiable. So write it down, put it in your wallet. Make sure you just keep following it on a daily basis, right? So next one is a pretty fun one where the author tells about making sure we act as an Italian grandmother. And this might be a little funny, but to get the deeper meaning out of it is to actually make sure not to spend on things which can actually make our lives easier and at the same time make us save a lot of money on a long run, right? And especially cooking meals, which we kind of do it every day on a daily basis, right? And we cook 3 times a day. And imagine when we start eating outside, we spend like $5, $10 per meal, and then around adds up to sometimes $30, $40 or euros per day. And then when you just scale it up 5 years, 10 years down the line, that might be a huge chunk of money, which we could have just, invested, and then you would have gotten amazing returns by doing simple meal preps, right? Cook in bulk, make sure you don't spend on unnecessary things where we can actually save a lot. And especially things like every day when you're doing something on spending, make sure it's done in the right way. I'm not saying not to spend money. Of course, we need to do something in order to get something back. But the idea is where we can cut short, it's much more easier. But the idea is you can always start restricting the spendings, but that always has a limit, right? Of course, getting more cash flow is never a limit, but this is a start, right? This is entirely in our control. And this you can literally start tomorrow, but you cannot literally start getting cash flow tomorrow, right? So that's what it's about. So starting with things which we can control, starting small, and making sure, of course, for long run, it's really worth it. And he also talks about a psychological point where she tells the author Chelsea talks about not buying groceries when we are hungry, drunk, or angry, right? Otherwise, we might actually spend money a little mindlessly. And especially when we are hungry or angry, we kind of need quick stress buster. And then when we actually spend and get a new product, get a new item, get a new food, it just makes us feel good immediately. And then that's something not good again, long run. So it's always about the long term, and by sacrificing few small term, quick feel good benefits. But at the same time, of course, when we cook home food, it's healthier, tastes better, saves money. So it's kind of win-win, I would say. So try to focus on small daily spendings. It's not just about the meal, but it's about the everyday frequent spendings wherever we can cut short, right? And finally, uh, she talks about how to dream carefully. And, especially when you set super ambitious, intense goals. Again, we're not talking about the goal setting. We're not talking about how much you want to earn 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, but also just be aware, right? It's really important not to overstress or overstrain yourself by sacrificing the present moments, with, your relationship, with your friends. At the same time, it's really important to have a goal. At the same time, not put too much pressure, right? By sacrificing the sleep. And I've seen people where they grind by sacrificing their health and sleep, which I totally uh, wouldn't recommend, because again, mental and physical health is one of my core principles to actually keep a check on. And then comes our financial health, right? So when the base foundation is already there, and then we focus on the next step and not actually sacrificing things. And this actually puts much more pressure when we dream something super ambitious. Again, I'm not telling how much to dream or what to dream, but it's about being aware of the goal, right? And what you might need to give up in order to achieve the goal. And we shouldn't, set a goal and then regret much more and then make it much more stressful in order to achieve the goal. And that might not be a happy journey. The idea is to enjoy the process and journey at the same time. And for doing that, Chelsea tells to dream carefully, be aware. Having big goals is totally fine, of course, but you should always, be, honestly pursuing them, but the touch of realism, right? We cannot live under delusion. And this is really important. Be aware. So even though you dream medium, right, achieving your financial aspiration will still feel magical. And imagine getting, just few euros, a few dollars based on something that you do. And that itself sparks you amazing motivation, then kicks in things. So you not dream super high, start small, be consistent, keep doing it. And, save and cut short your spendings where you think it's on a daily basis not that important. So a few things like this itself is gonna, already create this basic foundation, and you're already on this amazing diet. And the idea is to just keep getting better on an iterative cycle. And I think I don't want to elongate this video further. It's about just starting with the quick foundational steps, and that's whole pretty wholesome, and that's the whole idea of the book as well. And of course, feel free to read the full book in order to get some more deep insights. And as always, thanks a lot for your time. And I wish I make a lot more videos, of course, in terms of finance, but also personal and professional development. So feel free to like and subscribe, and obviously comment if you feel that I've missed something, or if you want me to, make videos in a certain genre or certain direction. Please feel free to comment, and I'll definitely get back to you on that. Until then, have an amazing day or have an amazing sleep ahead. So see you guys in the next video soon. Take care.